Is heavy a good class? Does heavy suck? Why don't more people play heavy? Heavy is useless! These might just be some of the things you have heard thrown around the TF2 community once or twice. But why is it that people think that? Well, it mostly comes down to the way that heavy plays. Standing still and holding M1 and waiting for enemies to walk into your bullet hose, sure, it's effective, but it's not the most engaging playstyle. It's undeniably powerful, capable of shredding enemies in seconds, but it comes with a trade-off: mobility. Spinning it up slows you down to a crawl, making you an easy target for snipers, spies, and anyone who can outrange you. This means that heavy is often stuck in predictable spots, either locking down a choke with his team or camping a health pack waiting to get back in the fight. It's effective, sure, but for some players it can feel repetitive. So what if we threw the minigun away entirely? People have tried to experiment with Fat Scout, ditching your minigun and replacing your trusty sandwich with a shotgun. Ditching the tanky and slow gameplay and running around like a bootleg scout, except, huge. It's aggressive, and it's a way to make heavy feel more mobile. Because, while you are faster than using the minigun, you are still the slowest class in the game. Without a true way to get close to your enemies, Fat Scout is nothing more than a meme gimmick. Sure, you can catch people off guard, landing clean shotgun shots can feel satisfying, but most of the time, you're just a worse version of Scout and would be more effective using your minigun. Fat Scout might be fun, but it is not entirely practical. And that's where the buffalo steak sandwich comes in. Unlike Fat Scout, which just gives you a shotgun and hopes for the best, this actually boosts heavy speed, letting you move at the same pace as a pyro or an engineer. The steak puts you into a berserker mode, with all your hits dealing mini crits. Now this sounds devastating, running at enemies with boosted speed and dishing out extra damage, and sometimes it is. You can close the gap on weaker classes and overwhelm unsuspecting enemies, and turns heavy into something that feels more like a charging bull than a slow-moving tank. But as fun as it sounds, the buffalo steak sandwich comes with some serious issues. Now, unlike the other options, this secondary does not heal you, and after being consumed, does not allow you to switch back to your primary while it is in effect. Once you eat the steak, you're all in. If you find yourself in a bad situation, say a soldier spots you from a distance or a scout kites you around, you have no way to fight back. You're stuck swinging your fist desperately, trying to land a hit while your enemy simply backs away and shoots. On top of that, the mini crits are not as strong as they might seem. Unlike the full crits, which deal triple damage, mini crits only boost your damage by 35%. Against squishy classes like Scout or Sniper, this does not change how many hits it takes to kill them. Pair this with the fact that you're a massive and slow-moving target, and you start to see why most heavies don't take the buffalo steak seriously. And if it couldn't get any worse, this weapon contains a 20% damage vulnerability. Now, when you compare this to the Demo Knight, another melee-centered playstyle, heavy does have everything it needs to make work. The Demo Knight has a movement tool with the charge, which the heavy has with this increased movement speed. Demo Knight has high HP, and same thing with heavy since he's naturally tanky. There's one crucial thing missing: a damage reduction tool. Demo Knight gets resistances from the shields, allowing him to tank damage while closing the gap. Without something similar, the steak heavy is left completely exposed, taking full damage while running straight at his enemies with his fist. If only there was a way to fix this. Oh wait, there is! Enter the Fists of Steel. With these equipped, heavy takes 40% less damage from ranged sources, which is exactly what he needs to survive the incoming approach. Normally, the biggest problem with steak heavy is that you're a massive and slow-moving target who is easy to gun down before you can even get close. With the Fist of Steel, that problem is significantly reduced. Bullets, rockets, and sticky bombs all deal far less damage when giving you the durability to actually reach your target. And of course, there is a trade-off. While the Fist of Steels mitigate range damage, they also make you take double damage from melee, which means once you're up close, you need to win that fight fast, because if your enemy starts swinging back, you're in trouble. However, Heavy's base HP does make up for this. Even while taking double melee damage, you can still tank a few hits more than most enemies. A Scout's Bat still takes multiple swings, a Soldier's Shovel, you'll survive more hits than he will, and even against other melee focused classes like Demo Knight, your sheer bulk gives you a serious advantage as long as you're the one who's landing hits first. And once you've got the buffalo steak sandwich in your hand and your fist of steel is equipped, it's time to start brawling. The playstyle revolves around picking the right moment to pop the steak, because once you take a bite, there's no going back. You can't switch weapons, you can't heal, you're committed to a melee combat for the next 16 seconds, so you need to make sure you're in a good spot before you chow down. The best way to use this combo is to position yourself near a fight, but outside the immediate danger. Maybe you're just waiting around the corner, or hiding in a flank route, or even pushing up behind your team. Once you're ready, you eat the steak, and get that sweet speed boost, and charge straight into battle. At this point, your goal is to close the gap as fast as possible. You're not a normal Heavy anymore, you're a wrecking ball. Go for distracted enemies first, those who are not focused on you at the moment, and are not expecting a Heavy to run straight towards them. Catch them off guard, and they'll barely have any time to react before they're sent back to the spawn room. Against bulkier enemies, things get trickier. Mini-crits help, but they don't guarantee a kill. You'll need to weave around their attacks and use your speed to try and dodge, and get in as many punches as possible before they have a chance to fight back. The Fists of Steel give you enough survivability to tank some damage, but you can't just stand there and eat rockets, you still need to play smart. And when you do land those punches, it's brutal. Mini-crits mean that your fists hit way harder than normal, and if your enemy isn't expecting it, you can drop them before they even realise what's happening. There's nothing more satisfying than rushing down a panicked sniper, or watching someone realise they can't just run away, or even just smacking an unsuspecting soldier into the ground before they can even fire their rockets. And one of the best parts about this combo is that you're not stuck playing melee forever. Once the effects of the steak wears off, you can go right back to using your minigun. This means that any enemies who manage to escape your punches are not necessarily safe. They might have dodged the first, but now they have to deal with a fully armed Heavy. Now this covers the other big weakness that the steak Heavy has. Normally when the effects run out, you stand there awkwardly and die before you can get your minigun out because of how much damage you've taken. With the Fists of Steel's damage resistance, you're more likely to survive long enough to pull out your minigun and turn the tables. Instead of being a sitting duck, you become a legitimate threat from both close and mid-ranges. So, which minigun do you use? It's the Tomislav. The faster rev-up speed makes it the best option for quick switching. In the middle of a fight, when your steak effect ends, you don't want to be stuck revving up a slow minigun while your enemies are still around. You need to be ready to fire instantly. The Tomislav lets you do just that, getting bullets in the air before your enemies even realise what's happening. But the real kicker is the silent rev. Most players expect the steak Heavy to be locked into melee mode. When they see you running around with your fists out, they assume you're an easy target. And that's their biggest mistake. If they chase you down expecting to land an easy kill, you can quietly spin up the Tomislav and ambush them the moment they turn around a corner. 1 second they think they're hunting you down, the next second they're walking straight into a hail of bullets. This makes the Tomislav the perfect tool for turning the tables. You go from being the hunter in melee range to luring enemies in, shredding them with a surprise attack minigun. Whether you're using it to finish off runners or punishing overconfident enemies, the Tomislav completes the build, making it one of the most versatile ways to play Heavy. So, is this some top tier meta-breaking strategy? No, not at all. But it is a hilarious way to play, and to break out of Heavy's usually slow and stationary playstyle, and actually put some fear into your enemies. Absolutely. If you're tired of standing still and holding M1, why not try something different? Ditch the minigun, grab a steak, and start punching. Did I get anything wrong? Disagree with my opinions? Think I missed something? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video or found it interesting, consider giving it a like, sharing it, and possibly even subscribing. And thank you for getting to the end.